Warning. This podcast may contain spoilers from whatever TV show or movie is mentioned. Please listen at your own discretion. Welcome to Viewers Anonymous.
Yo. I am Scoots Bronson.
And I am S. Foster.
That's right. You're tuned into another episode of the Viewers Anonymous podcast, where we give you our very own reviews and takes of movies and TV straight out of Hollywood. What's up with you, Brody?
Man, listen, man, I'm all right, man. Very busy day at work today. You know what I'm saying? We had 3 people out, man. And yeah, but when people out, but others got to fill in the slack, man. So it was a long day today, but your boy got it done though. But anyway, man, how about you, man? How you feeling?
I'm down and out. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Had some hope on Saturday. Hope immediately got ruined. You know what I'm saying? Everybody in Houston, suck it. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel. That's how I feel. If you live in Houston, fuck you. You know what I'm saying? With love, but fuck you.
Dude, come on, man. Paul Wall, Slim Thug, and Mike Jones about to go on tour again, man.
As they should. They deserve to. They legends. They should. You know what I'm saying? Scarface, all them. I love them all, but fuck Houston right now, bro. You know what I'm saying? They did us dirty, my nigga.
Hey, but I seen that score. I didn't watch it, but I seen that score. I was like, what? It did. But that's gotta be bittersweet for you, boy. Like I was talking to, I did a pod with E last week. And so I did a pod with E last week, and we were just talking about how, you know what I'm saying, that this version of the CJ Stroud, this was the version of the CJ Stroud that you wanted.
Man, we could have beat Michigan, won a national championship, all kind of shit. This nigga go to Houston and all of a sudden he ball out. Fuck out of here, man. Bullshit, bro. I mean, honestly, man, congratulations to the Houston Texans. And congratulations to CJ Stroud. You know what I'm saying? Always a Buckeye, man. I'm glad that, you know what I'm saying, he moving on to the next round. I wouldn't have it any other way, to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? At least we lost to a Buckeye, so can't really be mad at that. But I mean, Houston showed up. They played a hell of a game. You could tell, that the fatigue set in with us. The injuries showed up and set in with us. So, hopefully we can rebuild off of it next year and make another, trip to the playoffs. But this was a very interesting year for the Browns, man. I'm really not mad. And, you know what I'm saying? It's real bittersweet, but I'm really not mad. You know what I'm saying? 4 different quarterbacks, 12% of the starters hurt, and end up with an 11-6 record. Can't be mad at that.
Man, yeah, man. I think y'all was able to put together, like real talk, a really good season, man. But the defense, that was didn't I send you that thing, that NFL Network clip that
nigga talking about riding the D?
Yo.
Hey.
Absolutely. Yo, you want to talk about, dude, listen, I laughed off that shit for like 25 minutes, my guy.
I did too.
Because he said, for y'all who haven't heard it, my man said, man, he said the Chiefs defense playing pretty good, man. You think they can ride the D for the rest of the playoffs? He said, He looked at him.
Maurice. Hey, Maurice Jones. Hey, Maurice Jones was like,
hey, he was about to respond. That mother, He was like, defense.
He had to hurry up and cut him off, bro.
Hey, but that was all time funny. But I laughed off that shit for like 25 minutes. But that was hilarious.
That was hilarious. But you know what's funny though, bro, is the fact that like that chemistry that they got, the fact that he was able to even stop him before he got there. Because as soon as he said it, those dudes about to say something, he looked over like, fam, what? That shit was. He said defense. Yeah, catch yourself, brother.
Hey, hilarious, but Yeah, it's been like, dude, but yeah, I did do the Power E. I don't know if he put it on. I think he put the video part out, but I don't know if he put the audio part out yet. So
Okay,
we
okay.
did our predictions, man. I should have went with my instincts on the Dallas joint, but I didn't.
Mhm.
And yeah, all I did was put out some laugh emojis because
Don't feel
it's
bad, bro. All my bets did not go through this week. This whole
dang man,
weekend has been a shamble for me, bro.
damn, not shamble.
Yeah, I put $7 and some change in there because that was like my last little $7. Put
Yeah.
$7 and some change in there. Spread that shit thin as hell. I had, I had all kind of bets. I had one for $1.50 that could have won me $600, like all kind of shit. I was finagling. I ain't hit shit, man.
Damn.
But it was all good though. I wasn't really tripping. It was a long shot anyway. I had one. I had the Kansas City Chiefs. I had them winning. I think I picked the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Chiefs, and then I think I picked Miami. And man, that Miami game.
Yeah.
No, I didn't pick Miami. I'm sorry because the Chiefs play Miami. I picked the who played yesterday?
Uh,
The Packers and the Cowboys.
Dallas.
And who
And
played after that?
um, it was no, they played the night before. No, it was
It
it
was two
was
games yesterday. Who it was the Packers and the Cowboys, and then
Chiefs and the Dolphins.
no, the Lions. Whoever played the Lions. I had
Oh, the Lions. The Lions played. Uh, damn. Who did they play?
Rams. I had the Rams. That's who it was.
That's right,
I
Rams.
had
That's
Kansas
why I
City, I had
forgot.
Pittsburgh, and I had the Rams. Yeah, all that shit was all bad. So
Yeah, because I ain't watched none of that shit.
yeah, it was crazy, man. But I mean, overall, good weekend. I ain't got no complaints. So yeah, you know what I'm saying. I'm back in the building, man. Back in my studio. So you know, I'm happy about that for
Yes, sir.
sure,
Me too.
for sure. Um, but just some real quick announcements. This week I will be working on the Viewers Anonymous YouTube. So if you are listening to this, if you would like to watch us, if you don't listen on Spotify, because I know a lot of people uh happen to listen on Apple Music, or I'm sorry, Apple Podcasts. If you don't listen on Spotify, you can go to YouTube and watch us. I'm going to put the episode out a day after the episode drops. So you'll be able to watch us on YouTube the day after the episode drops. Also, um, if you would like to just watch us when the episode drops, you can do that exclusively on Spotify. So you can watch us when the episode drop. You can watch us on Spotify, or if you like to wait and just listen on your regular app, you can go ahead and catch us on YouTube the day after. So get ready for that.
Yes, sir, man.
Yeah, man.
Back on. Back with the visuals. Well, I mean, we had the visuals, like you said, on Spotify, but
Mm-hmm. But
everybody's
now
not
we're gonna have them on.
subscribing to Spotify.
Yeah, we're gonna have them on YouTube as well. So that's gonna be that's gonna be a fun thing to do. And then last but not least, I'm trying to think because I know I'm missing something. Oh, subscribe to our podcast. Um It's $2.99 a month. We have the behind the scenes episodes will be there from now on, and it's going to be a couple other things that we do that we're working on right now. But for sure, the behind the scenes episodes are going to be on there, and our behind the scenes episodes do pretty well. So if you enjoy those, go subscribe so you can catch up and listen to those as they drop. But after that, man, that's all I got, man. So what's going on, brother? You ready for the first segment?
Yes, sir, man. Let's knock these out.
All right, let's do it, man. Let's get into it. What we watching? Let's go.
What we watching?
What we watching?
All right, man. So what you got this? Oh, excuse me. What you got this week?
All right, man. So I got two. I got three, but I'm gonna hold this off for this upcoming week. But so I got two, man. One of them is a Amazon Prime. Amazon Prime original. Finally got the second season of Reacher. So I started that. Personally, I think the first season is a little better. I haven't
Mhm.
finished the season out yet, but I'm probably like 4 episodes in, and it's cool. It's cool. My dude got bigger. I don't know what he's trying to do. I don't know if he's trying to like outdo The Rock or something. But but my man getting huge out here in these streets, man. But like I say, I think the storyline in the first one was a little better. But this one to me it kind of started out a little slow. But I'm gonna keep watching it, see if it have a strong finish. So that's the first thing I'm watch. I ain't got a lot on it because it hasn't really been able to really hold my attention that well. So that's why I was saying that the first season is a little better. But the other thing that I'm watching, it's also Amazon Prime. There's a documentary called Bye Bye Barry. Let me
Oh
tell you something.
yeah, about Barry Sanders, fire.
Yo, that shit is fire, man.
Yeah.
It was a lot of details in there that I didn't know. I didn't know about the whole thing about um how he was supposed to be interviewed, and my man had to wait around for Barry for the draft for like he said he ended up waiting like hours for Barry to show up, and they couldn't find him.
Yeah.
And Barry was just saying that like his whole thing was like he ain't really looking for the spotlight and all that type stuff, and he didn't want to be perceived the wrong way. Then I didn't know the whole stuff about the Heisman. My man is in Japan, I think. They played a game in Japan,
Hmm.
and they had no intentions of thinking Barry was going to win the Heisman Trophy. And my man, he said that the time difference, I think it was like 6 hours or something like that. So he said he had to wake up at 3 a.m. in the morning. And there's a video of this dude dozing off.
That's crazy.
He's dozing off on TV because it's 3 a.m. where he at.
Yeah.
And he just didn't think that he was going to win because he honestly didn't want to win Heisman. And then there was one time in high school, Barry could have had, because he's from Kansas, I think Wichita, Kansas, I think.
That's
And I know, right? He could have had the rushing title, had the most rushing yards in the state.
hmm
Barry took himself out of the game. Say he didn't want it, right? So then goes to college. Now I think he ended up breaking the records, but it was just one of those things where, he was just, I guess it just had to be broken. Like it was nothing that could be done about it. But then his rookie year, Barry could have had, I can't remember if it was the all-time rookie rushing title thing or it was something. And Barry only needed like 19 yards or some shit like that.
hmm
Barry took himself out of the game. Commentators is going crazy in the booth. They like, yo, you only need 19 yards. They're like, what are you doing? And they talked to Barry's dad, and they was like, Barry did that before. Like he did it in high school. They was like he would take himself out of the game because he didn't want single accolades. Like he didn't want to be singled out. Like he just wanted to be just a person that was part of the team. But the all-time thing though, and I'm leave this alone, is when Barry decided to retire. I did not know about this. I'm pretty sure everybody in Detroit already know, but I didn't know about this. Barry sent in a fax, my guy, and told them that he was retiring. And when he sent the fax, my man took off and he was in Paris. So there was no interviews. He didn't go into the facilities to tell anybody or nothing. My man sent in a fax and said that he was done. So a lot of people of Detroit was pissed off at him, but then like people who knew Barry, they was like, it really kind of makes sense. They was like, it seemed like some shit that Barry would do because he don't like attention. They was like he just wanted to be one of the guys, but it was just one of those things. So I thought that the Bye Bye Barry documentary was dope as fuck, man. This on Amazon Prime, so that's my two what we watching.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. Mine is on Disney Plus. Y'all already know I'm a Marvel head. I'm a Disney Plus head. Um, and it's Echo. You know what I'm saying? Fire show. It's a very short show though. It's only 5 episodes. It's about um a young girl who pretty much loses her mother and her father, and well, she loses her mother. She ends up being taken away from, I think they were in Oklahoma, to New York by her father, and then ends up losing her father once they get to New York, because her father was working for Kingpin. um if you don't know who Kingpin is, he's a big villain in the Spider-Man universe and also in the Daredevil universe. But she loses her father to Kingpin. Kingpin ends up taking her in, um and pretty much raising her to be like this super dope ass assassin. So he pretty much trains her up. You know what I'm saying? He got her doing some, you know what I'm saying, some work for him. And she's like his top, his top dog. And basically she finds out that he killed her father. So she set out for revenge and tried to kill him, failed to do it, and pretty much ended up the whole show is about her fighting off Kingpin or whatever. But she has superpowers that she gets from her ancestors because she's Native American. I think they said she's Choctaw. So but basically she get her power from her ancestors. So anybody that's like related to her as far as her sister or her mother or well, her mother's dead of course, but like her grandmother or whatever, she can like channel her energy to them and they can also have the power too. So she's deaf and she's an amputee, and they actually found someone who's Native American, deaf, and an amputee to play the role. So they did an amazing job. Um, as far as like showing homage to the Choctaw people, and sharing some of their traditions and some of their culture. They did a great job doing that. They found people who were of actual Native American heritage to play the roles, so it wasn't like those, what I'm saying, like going to get white people who look, what I'm saying,
Yeah.
like they could be Indian or whatever. So it was great. She badass. The first episode, she fighting Daredevil, and Daredevil blind, so like they getting, so like they getting to it. So it was pretty dope, man. If you guys get a chance, go on Disney Plus to check it out. It's called Echo, and it is fire. Um, but I made a joke though. I said that the that Marvel is putting together the affirmative action Avengers.
Hmm.
So get ready for that. You know what I'm saying? We got a black Captain America. Shang-Chi is also in there. Black Panther is in there. Um, now Echo might be in there. I'm trying to think who else is in there. I think Winter Soldier is still in there. Um, shit. I'm trying to think who else. Oh, Miss Marvel. You know what I'm saying? She Indian. So yeah, it's about to be a whole cast of diversity in this motherfucker. So Marvel is they might be on the hotbed right now. That's all I got, man.
That's what's
Um,
up.
hold on real quick. Go ahead, bro.
Okay, so the movie that we have, the feature presentation for today, it is a film that was dropped last year, highly anticipated film that dropped last year, and everyone knows who are avid listeners to this podcast know that I'm a huge advocate of Christopher Nolan, and this is his highly anticipated film, Oppenheimer. Now, I was able to go to the movies to go see this movie, and I spent the whole 3 hours in there. It kind of felt like when I went in there, it was like daylight, and when I left, it was dark. But
Yeah.
that's all good. um, but Nah, man. Like I've always said, man. Anytime I've spoken to anyone about this film, I always said that this is one of those films where what I'm saying it's an adult film. What I'm saying it's an historic
Mm-hmm.
film, and you have to have the attention span and be ready for dialogue. One thing that I have noticed that the trailer will throw you off. The trailer really gives you like the most exciting parts of the movie, but you don't see that
Mm-hmm.
much. Like, there's not a lot of excitement in this film, but they give you all the excitement in the trailer, which
It
is
depends. It
wild.
depends on what you're watching the film for.
Yeah, I mean, because this isn't a film for glitz and glamour. Like, you're not seeing any of that. Like,
This is a
if
true biopic.
yeah, and it really is. It's like history being played out. Like,
Mm-hmm.
this is what this film was, and I don't think that this is what it was supposed to have been. Like we all know that Christopher Nolan, like, look, he held what was it? Tenet.
Mm-hmm.
Like during the pandemic, he held that movie for like a year and a half because he was like, I don't want my shit to drop on some kind of streaming service. He was like,
I'm glad he did
my
that.
yeah, like my he was like my movies are made for IMAX. You know what I'm saying? Like my stuff is like you need to see it in this realm, and that's why I went to go see it in theaters because I felt like visually this was something that anyway the way he shoot me. You always talk about the way he shoots, how his stuff kind of look dark and gloomy, like he does, this thing with the cameras. And this movie, man, it was I'm not as good as what I'm saying you are about giving a synopsis of a movie,
Mm-hmm.
but to me, it was just a movie about, what I'm saying, a professor, J. Robert Oppenheimer, who um I'm thinking, I mean, was it let me get this right. That was a deposition, right?
So it was the movie was pretty much about his not necessarily his life, but it was about his time on the Manhattan Project and also the deposition about um his security clearance after the Manhattan Project. Because remember, throughout the whole Manhattan Project, his whole thing was about, they were telling him about his security clearance because it was his whole connection with the Communist Party at the time.
Hmm.
And even though we were technically in World War II partner, we were allies with Russia. We were somehow beefing with Russia too, which was weird as fuck. Um, because Russia was, I think they were trying to play like neutral because at the same time they were kind of trying to work with Hitler and them, but then I think Hitler and them fucked them over, and then they was like, "Fuck it, we gonna join up with the Allies." And then after they tried to join up with the Allies, I think that's when everybody was like, "Nah, we fuck with y'all, but we don't really fuck with y'all." So like, you know about Stalingrad, of course,
Yeah.
um, really better than I do, honestly, but um pretty much they were kind of just looking at everything like, yo, we don't really fuck with Russia. After World War II, I believe the Cold War kind of started around that time, and that's what also kind of had us beefing with Russia with the NASA program and
Hmm.
everything, which my opinion only. This is just my opinion. This does not reflect the views and opinions of S. Foster or the Viewers Anonymous podcast. This is just Goose Bronson, where we fake the moon landing to say that we got to the moon first. You know what I'm saying? Um, so yeah, it's a weird situation, but basically, um, the FBI was using America's paranoia to pretty much say that anybody who believed in communism or was a part of communism was pretty much like the terrorist of the time. And so that's what they did when they did COINTELPRO. They were pretty much naming the Black Panthers, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, so on and so forth. All of the black leaders at the time, they were using communism as a way to infiltrate and pretty much get a pass on surveilling them. throughout the the whole time of that COINTELPRO thing during that time. But basically, that's what the deposition was about. His connection with communism at the time, and up until that point, uh, they were trying to see if he was, pretty much with America or if he was a double agent at the time. Um, but this, I'm gonna just go ahead and take the reins if it's cool with you.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Cool. So this movie, to me, right? This was one of the movies I definitely wanted to see in theaters. I never got a chance to go do that, but I definitely watched it on multiple platforms. I watched it on bootleg while it was still out in theaters, but I still end up getting a chance to watch it afterwards. I'm oh my god, I'm so jealous that I didn't get to go see this in theaters because this movie was amazing. I'm telling y'all now, I'm sorry, I'm giving this a 4.5 off
Okay.
rip. I mean, I'm gonna do it again during the Fire Flames, but this movie is that good. The cast is amazing. The acting is phenomenal. Um, Cillian Murphy, man, he does a job. I'm talking about from beginning to end. He does a job. He gives you this outlook on Oppenheimer that, first and foremost, we don't really know too much about people from this time, right? Um, we know about Albert Einstein only because of
What,
pretty much
mathematics?
everything. Yeah, everything that Albert Einstein pretty much comes up with, everybody learns in school. So we have this view of Albert Einstein that we don't have of J. Robert Oppenheimer, even though his work is very important because, especially now that NASA is such a big thing and we're all in the space and so on and so forth, right? Like, he was one of the people who was kind of on the forefront of um I'm saying, the equations and the mathematics behind black holes. Um, Even though is that shit was already done thousands of years before he actually, said anything about it. But modern day time, we give him the credit for black holes and dark matter, so on and so forth. Um, so I'm saying, he was he pretty much just gave everything. Appreciate it, bro. He pretty much just gave us like everything that we need to like, know everything that we know, like, right, like, we know that in a black hole, light can't escape a black hole, even though that everything we do is quote unquote based off of the speed of light. It's not that fast. It's not the fastest thing that we know. It's the fastest thing that we can conceive, but it's not the fastest thing we know that light can escape a black hole. So if we were to be able to move things at the speed of a black hole, we probably have like way better shit, right?
Hmm.
um and he was kind of he was, well, not kind of, he was on the forefront of that research. So basically what ended up happening was, because of his research that he did, and because he went out and kind of studied abroad in Europe, and met some of the scientists' brilliant minds at the time, like he was with Niels Bohr and all of those guys. He ended up basically coming back to America and was like, "Hey, this is the shit that we missing out on." Um, for me, one of the best scenes in this movie is when he figures out that these guys found a way to split atoms. And I know for like that, and this is why I said, this is why I had responded. The When you watch this movie, for certain people, it gets exciting because you learn about these people, that, or you get a chance to kind of get a visualization of these people that you've been learning about in school. But also, if you're into science, if you're into math and all this other shit, this really excites you because of these names that are being given out. Some of these names, you really know most of these names, right? And so
Hmm.
when he figures out that these guys are splitting atoms, it's like, oh shit, like this is where all of this shit starts. So this is where you get, like the atom bomb, and this is where you get the what was supposed to be the hydrogen bomb and all of these other things. But this is also where we get a bunch of shit that ends up being cell phones and fucking flat screen TVs and uh fucking the way cars move now, and you know what I'm saying, certain electronic devices and everything else, the technology we have today all comes from, you know what I'm saying, like the shit that happened in his time frame. So this really excited the shit out of me. I'm sorry, this movie was amazing.
Now I'm with you, man. It was also a tale of a guy who was, in my opinion, a bit misunderstood.
Hmm.
Um, because I think that someone who was as smart as he was had the sense of humor that he had, but he was very sure of himself.
Yeah.
And it seems like people that when we normally think about people who um they kind of carried themselves like Robert Oppenheimer did, like it was like, we really kind of looked at him and perceived him to be like an asshole because like, like he's too smart for his own good type of thing.
Right.
But I think that like he did it in such a way of like being so sure of himself that the shit kind of came off, obviously from the way they portrayed in the movie, as sexy to these women,
Hmm.
because it was so funny. I can't remember which podcast I was listening to, but somebody was saying that they was like the only thing that they learned from Oppenheimer was the fact that smart scientist dudes can get pussy too, which was hilarious. I can't remember who said it.
Yeah, you got to think about though, like in that time, right? And you also got to think about these ain't like celebrity women or the women of our time, like Instagram models or none of that shit. These are women of science. Like these are women who are around this field, who understand how important these men are, and who also, you know what I'm saying, are seeing how everybody else reacts to these men in this field. You know what I'm saying? Like if when Oppenheimer walks through, they like, oh shit, that's Oppenheimer. That's the nigga with the black holes. Or if Heisenberg walked through, they like, yo, that's the nigga that split the atoms. You know what I'm saying? Niels Bohr walked through, they like, yo, this the nigga with the theories and all. So when they see that, you know what I'm saying? Like they see how everybody else react to him. The same way if, you know what I'm saying, a nigga off Instagram that's doing skits, he get famous, he walked through, they like, oh shit, that's Desi Banks. Yeah, you going, you know what I'm saying? You going, women are going to gravitate towards those people because they see everybody else, you know what I'm saying, seeing them a certain way. And you know what I'm saying? Like it's no different. It's just I think it's because of the field. We don't look at like the scientists and we don't look at the guys like that. But like if you think about it, like doctors get ass, bro. Scientists get ass. You know what I'm saying? These are the dudes that when they in college, you know they making six figures coming out the gate. So
Yeah.
all the girls is trying to hurry up and lock that down before they even get up out of there. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these chicks, they going after the athletes and and all that, but I ain't gonna lie to you. You get you a dentist, you know what I'm saying? You might be living next to an athlete.
Yeah, great. Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? Chris Rock
Um,
said it himself. Chris Rock was like, shit, I'm a world famous comedian. He said, my neighbor is a fucking dentist. Yo, you be surprised.
oh yeah, for sure. Cause he straight up stole Kitty, from her
Mhm.
husband. You know what I'm
Hey,
saying? And hey, and I ain't mad at him, but yo, I'm gonna tell you something though. I did not expect to see what I saw out of Florence Pudge in this movie.
hmm
Did not expect to see that. That shit threw me off. That shit threw me for a loop because I've seen, like, what I'm saying, we seen her as, Scarlet, I always do that. As Black Widow's sister in the
hmm
Black Widow movie and joint, and then she ended up being in
Hawkeye.
Hawkeye. That's what one she was in. And like I said, she's starting to take off, man. She was in the Sorry, Sorry My Darling. I think that's what this shit called. The Olivia Wilde movie and joint, but she played Jean in this, and like, so he was smashing Jean, and then he ended
He
up marrying Kitty.
his goddamn fingers, bro.
Hey, I'm telling you, bud. And then what I'm saying, then she ended up committing suicide later on because he tried to what I'm saying, cut it off, and she couldn't take it. But But now, like, I thought that part of the story was kind of interesting. But then, like, going back and forth from the deposition to it playing out, which I think Christopher Nolan is a genius, man.
Absolutely.
To do the whole now, I'm not saying that this shit hasn't been done before, but for the present, it was in black and white. In the past, it was in color.
Absolutely.
Everything playing out. I thought it was a dope concept to do it that way. And in the depositions, when he was telling those stories about Jean, and but if you looking in the back, you see Kitty with that look on her face, like, yo, you fucking son of a bitch, like you know you wrong. But then at the same time,
while he was talking and everything, that shit was crazy.
That shit was super crazy. But then at the same time, it's like, okay, Kitty, like you knew you know what I'm saying? You were married when, you know what I'm saying, when you were fucking with my dude, and then you go divorce your husband and get with him.
But I think it was the importance of the fact that she knew, you know what I'm saying? He came to her, he kept it real. Well, he ain't really keep it real with her, but he kind of told her because after she killed herself, he kind of, you know what I'm saying, kind of lost it. But of course she knew. I think it was just the fact that in that deposition, nobody else knew but them.
Yeah.
And so when he had,
I think she felt embarrassed.
Yeah, that's what it was. Now that he tells it, now it's going to be all over the papers that, you know, he had an affair and everything else. And now she's going to be a part of that. She didn't have to even worry about that at first. Now this is something that she has to worry about because of who he is. And you know what I'm saying? Like, this is now all a part of the story. And now we all know that she's been, you know what I'm saying, pretty much cheated on. And like you said, that's an embarrassment, especially at that time. It's definitely an embarrassment.
Oh, yeah. So we're gonna stay on topic, but just slide off a little bit. So as far as the bombs, right? Now I don't know if people who ended up leaving that compound, I don't know if they were spreading secrets. I don't really know how this shit really happened, or if just the rest of the world just caught up. So they come up with the formula to make the bombs. That's what this whole shit is about. Pretty much this whole movie is about. But we're talking about them actually being dropped. When they dropped two of them, which, you know, America being what America is, a bully, and they cheat and do whatever the fuck they want.
Not necessarily.
Yeah, they do, man. Have we ever been charged with a war crime?
Who's gonna do that?
Exactly.
Has Britain ever been charged with a war crime?
I don't know. I don't keep up with Britain like that.
Has France ever been charged with a war crime?
I don't keep up with them like that.
Has Italy ever been charged with a war crime?
I don't keep up with them like that.
Has Spain or Portugal ever been charged with a war crime?
I don't know. I don't keep up with them.
That's what I'm saying. Who's going to do it? The UN?
Man, well, the United States.
We gonna charge ourselves?
No, we're not gonna charge ourselves.
That's what I'm saying. What you talking
about? They'll charge, you know what I'm saying, Russia some shit. But like we the ones. Yeah, but we the ones that do. We the ones that do this.
No, I'm saying, if I go out right now and rob a bank, you gonna arrest me, or you gonna look out for me?
I'm gonna look out for you.
That's what I'm saying. You feel me? So I'm saying, who gonna do it? The only motherfuckers that can really go toe to toe with us for real is the niggas that we cool with.
I mean, this is true. This is true.
I know they talk a lot of shit about China. Don't get me wrong. I know they talk a lot of shit about China. China got all the manpower and all the other shit. Man, let's be real. China can't fuck with us for real, bro. China don't spend nearly as enough money as they do on their military as we do. We spend so much money on our military that we just making shit at this point. You know, they got a gun that could dehydrate you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, we got so many tanks, my God. That, like these motherfuckers are starting to rust. Man, we ain't got nothing to do with these motherfuckers. Like,
we went over to Vietnam, right? The instant that we thought we was losing, nigga, they said drop napalm on that shit. Nigga, they can't. It's certain shit that we gonna do that other countries ain't gonna do. Okay, you want to know why China won't fuck with us? Because they seen what happened in Japan, Hiroshima, Nagasaki. That's all you need to know. They know that we are going to take it all the way to the edge, bro. Nobody's going to take it to the edge like USA does.
Yes,
You know
and
what
we
I'm
took
saying?
it to the edge. We
They was
dropped.
in planes killing themselves. You know what I'm saying? Killing themselves, bro. What's that shit called? They was doing kamikazes. You know what we said? Don't worry about it. Boom! Blew all that shit up. Now what? Kamikaze again. I bet you not a near motherfucker kamikaze on us. They kamikaze in Iraq. Guess what happened?
What?
Not a goddamn thing else was going down in Iraq. And we wasn't even supposed to be in that bitch. We was killing niggas off just to kill niggas off. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what America does. That's what America's about. Nobody's gonna fuck. America is the crazy white boy in the group that don't nobody want to be. That's what America is, okay? Don't fuck with America, bro. The good old red, white, and blue. We will tear shit down. I don't care what it is. And ain't nothing coming to our home front. We coming to your house. And we gonna tear all that shit up. So you fuck with America if you want to.
Hey,
Get it.
America is wild enough to fucking drop Agent Orange on their own motherfucking troops. Like, like,
20 years
like
later,
what?
and then pay them 20 years later. Hey, we know we did y'all wrong, but here you go. Here goes some money. But we killed them niggas, didn't we? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like, look, we got him. You was a casualty, but we got him.
That's what it's all about, bro.
Um,
America plays no games, bro. You know what
yes,
I'm saying?
sir.
America, if you really want to know what America is about, watch Jackass. That's America. America will do the wildest shit. Just let you know. Can't fuck with us, bro.
Man. But nah, so like two things. Like one, so there was a story that someone had told me. Because we was talking about this is way before Oppenheimer came out.
Mm-hmm.
But so we were just talking about war and stuff and how I was saying that okay, they want to drop one, prove a point. All right, drop one, prove a point, do what you need to do, whatever. But then I was like, the second one, I was like, I just felt it was obsessive. I was like, I really didn't think that we needed to do both of them. So I was talking to this guy, and he had a different opinion. I was like,
the second one was the point.
yeah. And so the guy was telling me, and like I say, this is just one of those things where when you personally affected, you view things differently.
Mm-hmm.
And this person's father was in that war.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, you know, he heard stories from his father saying that, you know, he was on the front line because he was one of the poor whites, and like, you know, he was expendable and all those type things. And he was like, a lot of people were dying, and he said that if they didn't drop those bombs, that possibly he wouldn't be here. He was like, possibly his father would have died in that war because he was on the front lines. And I was like, okay, well, you have a personal, you know what I'm saying, effect to that. So yeah, our opinions are gonna vary because I wouldn't have been personally not offended, but affected by it, but you was. So that's one thing I wanted to mention. But the other thing is, do you have the belief of because we dropped those two on Japan, do you think that's why Japan is more quote unquote advanced, mostly Tokyo is more advanced than we are because they had to rebuild later? Because when you look at like New York and you know what I'm saying, like the monumental cities in the United States, like a lot of that shit is old. Like when you look at New York, like you can look at Times Square. Like I was watching this thing before we came on, Times Square in 1932. It's the same fucking buildings.
That's because we gotta. So in America, we have this thing for nostalgia, right? America wants to be in the 18/1900s so bad. You know what I'm saying? Because it was so great for America at the time. Free labor, you know what I'm saying? Imports, exports, all that shit. Economy was booming. They had niggas picking cotton, oranges, cutting down sugar cane. Whatever a nigga could do for free, the nigga was doing it. So yeah, they want to go back in time bad. So they have this thing for nostalgia, right? That's why like we collect like relics and World War II shit and all this other shit. They still doing the Battle of Gettysburg in Gettysburg. You know what I'm saying? Even though that war been over for hundreds of years, you know what I'm saying? Niggas still flying Confederate flags. They just like the past. And in Japan, when they got bombed, we had to pay reparations. So they got a whole bunch of money to be able to boost their economy and do shit. And that's why Japan is partially where it's at now. Of course, because of their culture and everything else too. That's, you know what I'm saying, mainly the reason, but partially is because, you know what I'm saying, they got this shitload of money from America after doing what they did. Plus, they got more money because of in World War II, they were taking in Asian people in internment camps. So, you know what I'm saying, a lot of money went to that economy. And then if you think about it, like a lot of the shit that, you know what I'm saying, we do now is pretty much sent over there as far as just jobs and everything else, like call center jobs and factory jobs and everything else, get sent over to these countries. And so they're able to have people work and work and work and work and be able to boost the economy through that while we, you know, get stuck in the past and we buy everything that come into in through these stores and they all either made in China, made in Taiwan, made in Japan or whatever. And we buy all these imported goods when, you know, we should really be selling imported goods, but instead we just send a whole bunch of jobs over there, and people make money hand over fist, and the rich get richer, poor get poorer, but everybody love old shit.
True, true. Like, cause I hear a lot of people, well, not a lot of people, but some people will talk about like, when you look at, Tokyo and it looks like if you look at it like the main strip in Tokyo and you look at Times Square, it's just
Mhm.
like Tokyo's way more advanced, way
I mean,
more.
if you think about it, they got Hyundai, they got Nissan, they got I think they got like three or four fucking car dealership. I mean, car plants that's from Tokyo, right? Or
Hmm.
Japan. And then they got Sony, which is a huge major thing
Yes.
far as entertainment. They do music, PlayStations, um, TV. They got all kind of shit. They make technology, right? They got fucking Toshiba, Mitsubishi. I mean, they got a bunch of fucking companies that we buy a lot of their fucking product. You know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
yeah, they killing the game right now.
Oh yeah, they're definitely killing the game. They're definitely killing the game.
PlayStation got me $600 this year.
Whew.
So, yeah, they get money.
Yeah, man. But like, yeah, I just wanted to mention that. But then, like, I just thought that it was dope, man. Like watching them, as far as the movie, getting back to the movie, building like a whole town and being smart enough to know, like, yo, we're not gonna get the best out of these people unless they bring their family. And
Absolutely.
so they build this whole town in the middle of nowhere
Hmm.
and have everybody come out, bring their families. They build schools, they build hospitals. You know what I'm
Churches.
saying? Churches. They built like I'm saying their own town and basically kept people in it so they could get like all of these smart people's best efforts. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Because this is one thing that America knows. These American men need to be able to fuck when they want to fuck. And see,
And
they
drink.
didn't say that in the movie. Yes, and drink. They didn't say it in the movie, but that's really what they meant by we need they brain working on the right cylinders, and the only way to
Absolutely.
do that is for them to be able to, bust one when they need to.
I mean,
So yeah.
so
so,
yeah.
so
But you know
bring your family.
Yeah, you know what? You glossed over a point though.
What's up?
You talked about how this movie was made when Christopher Nolan put this together, right? You talked about how the present was in black and white and how the past was in color, right?
Yeah.
But if you also paid attention to what was going on, the beginning of the movie and when it was in color, it was called Fission. And when they showed what was supposed to be at the time, the modern time in black and white, it was called fusion. Um, and if people don't know what these terms are in science, fission is the separation of atoms, and fusion is, you know what I'm saying, the pretty much the coming together of atoms. And I looked at this, and when I first seen it, I had heard somebody talking about this before because I listened to the reviews on this, but I thought that was interesting that he added those two things in there because this
Okay.
movie is also about science. This movie is also about um, atoms and atomic bombs and so on and so forth. I thought it was interesting that he named the the nostalgic part, the part that had already happened, or the history of it all, fission, because fission is separation. So I looked at it like this is when everything was falling apart, and then, or this is when he was falling apart, because in a lot of this you notice that his, like, they would have his heart racing, and like he would have like this anxiety thing going on, and like so they would show him, but everything in the background is like shaking and blurry, and then like it'd be like a stumping sound every time something would happen. And then I noticed that in the modern time, because it was a split, so a lot of the shit was in black and white, but sometimes it is when it was going to the deposition. I don't know if that was a part of the past part or that was also a part of the modern part. I didn't understand that. But the fusion part, it seemed like everything was coming together for him at the time because he finally kind of got an understanding of what Albert Einstein was saying to him at the end. When we seen, or when we finally heard what him and Einstein was talking about. And it seemed like that's what those two things were, you know what I'm saying, kind of alluding to, was how everything kind of fell apart for him, but towards the end, everything kind of came together for him, which I thought was dope because this is really like a damn near quadruple entendre, because not only was it was the his falling apart and his coming together, but it was also the whole science part of it, right? The fission and fusion, separation and coming together. And then also it was um so that's two because I said quadruple. So it was two. And then it was like the shit that he was doing at the time. He was kind of separating everything because people were leaving out of the Manhattan Project and everything else. And then at the end, he was kind of taking accountability of everything, right?
Mhm.
And then fourth, I thought it was interesting because the fission was in color and the fusion was black and white. So the fusion was when um the black and white comes together, which makes gray. Because technically it's not black and white, it's really grayscale.
Yeah.
So everything is gray. But the fission, everything is in color. So when you separate black and white, you get the color spectrum. I don't know if I'm just leaning into that, but I thought that was interesting too. Cause I was thinking, well, maybe that's what the fission shit is, you know, saying that that's why it's in color, because if you separate the shit, you get the, you know, the whole color spectrum. You're able to see everything in color. And then when you bring them together, you get gray. So I was like, man, maybe that's, you know I'm saying, a little add-on that he did just to throw something in there. But I thought that was genius for Christopher Nolan to add that part because of, you know I'm saying, the way everything kind of fell into place. It was, man, bro, listen, Christopher Nolan don't get enough recognition, bro. This nigga is like the Stanley Kubrick of our time, bro. I'm sorry. This nigga has to be like, if you go back and watch Stanley Kubrick movies, bro, this nigga really like put shit into perspective. I mean, Stanley Kubrick makes some brilliant work. I feel like Christopher Nolan is in that same vein. You know what I'm saying? Inception,
Mhm.
Tenet, Oppenheimer. I mean, even to the Batman movies. If you watch the Batman movies, it's kind of the same way. Like this dude really, he really puts his motherfucking foot in the spaghetti when he making the spaghetti.
Yeah, man. And he's able to get us to look at people in a different light. I
Mhm.
think Robert Downey Jr. playing Lewis
Oh,
Strauss was just,
nominal.
it was like every movie, in my opinion, this is S. Dot Foster, since he's done Iron Man, he's been Iron Man in everything.
Absolutely.
Mannerism has been the same. Everything has been the same. Even in one of my favorite movies that he done and nobody really never seen as the Judge, it's the same.
Hmm.
But in this, it wasn't.
Totally different.
Like, like it felt like Christopher Nolan was able to just take all of Iron Man out of him and put together one of his greatest performances that I seen him put together. And for him to put this performance together as this guy, as in Lewis, it was just like, I just don't think that a lot of people is able to get that out of people because he's so hands on. You hear people talk about like working with Christopher Nolan, they was like, "Oh, he's really, really hands on. He have a vision for things, and he worked hard to, you know what I'm saying, get the vision that he has in his mind to put it on camera. And for him to be able to take someone that is seasoned as he is and as great as he is and has been on the run that he's been on, to be able to get him to, you know what I'm saying, to be this other person and just embody that person. Even Matt Damon's playing Leslie Groves. Like, I didn't like him at all. I don't have nothing against Matt Damon, but I ain't like him in this shit.
He wasn't. The crazy part was he was on the side of fucking Oppenheimer. He was on Oppenheimer's side this whole time. And the way that he portrayed the character, it was kind of like the way that they set it up, it seemed as if he was against Oppenheimer, but truthfully, he really had Oppenheimer's back through this whole shit. And I thought that was dope because it's like you really don't know who's for him and who's against him until the very end. You know what I'm saying? Because even in the beginning, they had Strauss looking like he was like, I looked out for Oppenheimer. He's a genius and all this other shit. And then in the end, where he goes into his montage, I mean not his montage, but like his monologue, like you see like, oh, this motherfucker is the hater of the year. This motherfucker might be the hater of the decade, the millennium, whatever. Man, listen.
Yes.
When he went into that speech, bro, if Robert Downey Jr. does not win an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor for this fucking movie, bro, I know something. Because that motherfucker showed his ass in this movie, bro.
Yes.
He did a phenomenal job. When that dude, he started talking and dude was looking at him like, nigga, this whole time you been hating on this man. And I'm sitting here trying to figure out what the fuck is the problem. I see the problem. You the problem. You know what I'm saying? Here I am supposed to be supporting you. You hating on fucking Oppenheimer.
Hating hard.
Bro, this nigga was hating so bad. This nigga thought Oppenheimer told Albert Einstein something to make Albert Einstein not talk to him. And ever since that, no, it wasn't that. It was before that. It was when they went to the thing and he was doing something with science or whatever, and Oppenheimer was making fun of whatever his shit was. Ever since then, this nigga hated Oppenheimer's guts, bro. Can you imagine holding a grudge for that fucking long? Shit that, first and foremost, you ain't even certified in this shit. We ain't asking you about no equations. We ain't asking you about no theories. You ain't teaching shit. Fam, we don't give a fuck about what you talking about when it comes to this science shit. We do this shit in our sleep. This nigga wasn't even going to sleep because he was having visions of black holes because he was thinking about that shit so much. Nigga, you can't even fathom that. And here you are thinking that you the man because you got a little award from the president because man, get the fuck on, man. Robert Downey Jr., I never hated him so much, bro. I never hated him so much, bro. I was like, this nigga did a phenomenal, bro. When he was in Tropic Thunder and did blackface, I laughed my ass off. I'm just gonna say that I wasn't even mad at him in blackface because I was like, this shit is hilarious. When he was Iron Man,
what do you mean, you people?
I'm playing the dude that's playing the dude that's playing the dude. Bro, hilarious, nigga. I was on the floor crying, bro. You know what I'm saying? Genius work. Wasn't nothing wrong with that. Bro, when this nigga played Iron Man, when he died, I cried, bro. I was like, damn, bro, they killed Tony Stark. They killed him. Man, this nigga played fucking Louis Strauss. I was like, man, fuck this hate. I was like, man, this nigga is a fucking punk, man. But nah, like when I'm telling you, bro, he has to win Best Supporting Actor in the movie for this fucking role because he showed his ass off, bro. Like his experience definitely came into play in this role because that ending scene where he just going off and he like, yo, he definitely told, you know what I'm saying, Albert Einstein, he definitely told Einstein something about me. He thought he was the man because he was on Time magazine and he thought he was a god. And I was the one who created. I'm like, yo, this nigga is going crazy. Hey, phenomenal work, man. Phenomenal work. Cillian Murphy, best actor. I'm sorry. Give him his Oscar. Give it to him. I don't care what other movie came out. All that Barbie shit, get that shit out the window. Cillian Murphy,
That's funny.
best actor, bro. I'm talking about hands down. I've seen Cillian Murphy in a bunch of work. We've seen him in Christopher Nolan films before. He was the Scarecrow in Batman.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I've seen him in other works. But when I tell you this role right here, phenomenal job. There was nothing to me. There was nothing bad about this movie. The only reason, I'll get into that when we get there. But there was nothing bad about this movie. This movie was amazing, man. For it to be 3 hours, and I'm talking about, I didn't lose no interest in this movie. That's how great this movie is. I didn't look at my phone once. My mom came in and started talking to me. I had to pause the movie so I wouldn't miss anything. I sat and talked to my mom, kept going. As soon as I tried to play it, she started talking to me again, put it back on pause. And once we was done, I got right back to it. I'm talking about, this movie was amazing, bro. This was a phenomenal movie. There's nothing bad I can say about this.
I feel the same way because I don't think that there was nothing in the 3 hours that I look back at and be like, well, they should have cut this, they should have cut that.
Absolutely.
Everything
had a place, everything had a need to be in the movie.
Exactly. Like my what we're watching next week.
Mm-hmm.
Like looking back at it, it's like, all right. I think everything was necessary, but in this movie, everything was necessary. Like there wasn't any. I feel the same way. There wasn't any loss of interest in anything, even though it was as long as it was. It just felt like, to me, when it comes to historical pieces and you're trying to be as factual and as explaining as possible, I think that is very necessary if you want to get the story right. As far as like the best actor and all that type stuff, I'm definitely with you with Robert Downey Jr. Cillian Murphy. I can see where you're coming from. When you come to that, but I gotta give a little bit of love to Matt Damon for the simple fact of, like, he made me not like him, and that's Matt Damon isn't a person that plays characters that's unlikable. I think that the only character that he played that could come a little close to him not being likable is in The Departed. I think that's probably the only other one that somebody could look at Matt Damon and be like, you know what? I didn't really like him in Departed. But this one, even though he was with Oppenheimer, he was kind of like an asshole at the same time. But he was trying to get his point.
Talking about, because he was. So this is the thing. I feel like in order to play a good, high-ranking military official in movies, you have to be an asshole.
Yeah, I can see that.
They all seem like that. Like, I got an uncle who has, like, he's like high rank. He's the same way. That's the only reason I wasn't even like. That's the only reason it didn't even throw me off. Because, like, soon as I seen Matt Damon's character, I instantly was related to it.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying there. I ain't mad at that opinion at all. But, like, yeah, man, this movie was. Oh man, even though I've only seen it once, I'm personally waiting on it to drop on something. It'll drop on something here soon. But like, yeah, it was definitely amazing, man. It was, and you know, Stanley Kubrick, Kubrick, how you say his name?
Kubrick.
Kubrick. Like, obviously I seen. I'm pretty sure I've seen at least maybe two or three of his movies, but one I know for a fact is his movie is Full Metal Jacket. And
have you ever seen? Well, you seen Eyes Wide Shut?
no, I haven't. I've never seen Eyes Wide Shut. I hear people
I
talk
wanna,
about it
I
all
want
the
to
time, but
say
I've never seen it.
is Vanilla Sky a Kubrick film?
Is it? I've seen
Um,
Vanilla Sky. That's my
'Cause I know
joint.
he did a lot of work with Tom Cruise later on
Um,
in his career.
but
Have you ever seen 2001: A Space Odyssey?
no,
Have you ever seen A Clockwork Orange?
no.
You seen The Shining?
Yes, I seen The Shining.
So that's two. Have you ever seen Doctor Strangelove?
No,
Spartacus, the
no.
'60s movie Spartacus.
That's what I'm saying. So that's why I'm trying to think of.
Oh yeah, so yeah. Well, yeah, Vanilla Sky is not. His last movie was damn, was it really Eyes Wide Shut? Yeah, his last shit was Eyes Wide Shut. That's crazy.
The only other person, hmm, because he really is like in a class by himself. I mean, like
Mhm.
a lot of the directors that I hold to high regard is Christopher Nolan, um, Martin Scorsese,
Mhm.
F. Gary Gray, Spike Lee, John Singleton. But like nobody really does the type of movies that Christopher Nolan does in that class. Like so that's why I can't really think of a guy. I mean, even Ron Howard and Steven Spielberg don't really do. Maybe
Okay.
James Cameron.
Oh yeah, James Cameron is up there for sure. Spielberg,
I said Spielberg. I said
Spike
Spielberg,
Lee,
but like who?
Spike Lee.
I said Spike Lee.
Okay. Yeah,
But I feel like Spike Lee is just a different lane a little bit.
yeah.
Um,
Well, he's more of a well, yeah, because a lot of the black movies and shit. I know what you're saying. Um,
yeah.
this is so. This is what I would challenge you to do, right? Because these are the two movies that got me on the Stanley Kubrick. 2001: A Space Odyssey. Both of these are on Max, by the way, too. 2001: A Space Odyssey and A Clockwork Orange. You can watch either one of them in whatever order you want to, but I challenge you to watch both of those.
Hmm.
And when I tell you that, first off, A Clockwork Orange is such a phenomenal movie because the way that he pieced this together is is fucking methodical. Like
Yeah.
when you watch this movie, it's one of those, and this is another reason I fuck with it too, because it's one of those like British movies, but it's supposed to be like a post-apocalyptic, post not apocalyptic. What am I trying to say? It's a dystopian. It's one of those like dystopian movies where like this is supposed to be towards like the future, but because it's some shit happened, they're kind of like stuck in the like past type shit.
Hmm.
When you watch it, you'll see what I'm saying. And then 2001: A Space Odyssey is one of those movies where like when you watch it, you'll be like, yo, this shit is crazy. The beginning of it is it drag out a little bit, but the payoff is definitely worth it. But those two movies I challenge you to watch. I'm telling you, bro, it's great work. Kubrick and Eyes Wide Shut too. Eyes Wide Shut is amazing. That's the one where when I seen that, I said this nigga is on a totally different level because this nigga made a movie about secret societies and nobody said shit about it. Nobody complained about. Nobody did. I'm talking about this movie is crazy, but don't nobody fuck with him about that shit.
Okay.
So
I ain't mad at that.
yeah, if you get a chance, definitely check those out.
Bet.
He is definitely heralded as one of the greatest filmmakers of all time. He deserves it though. But Yeah, you ready for the Fire Flames?
Fire Flames, let's do it.
Let's get into it, man.
Yoga fire. Yoga flame.
All right, so like I said earlier, man, I'm giving this to 4.5. And the reason I'm not giving this a 5 is because I have to see, and this is one of those things we might have to revisit. We might have to do a redo episode later on down the line. But I
Mhm.
have to see where this lands um as far as the biopic goes, because we talked about biopics, you know what I'm saying, that could possibly, you know, be in that upper echelon of biopics, right?
Yep.
And when we talked about Straight Outta Compton, we talked about how great that was as far as music goes. But um when we was having a debate, I was just talking about just regular biopics, right? Um and I would like to either see where that ranks up with some of the ones that we've already seen, or maybe, you know what I'm saying, just as a movie, how it holds up later on down the line. Either one. But that's the only reason I'm holding off on the 5, because I think that this could technically be in that top 5 category as far as biopic goes. And
Hmm.
that's I know that's a lot to put on it, but I mean, like I said, the cast was amazing. The acting was phenomenal. The way that they set the story up is phenomenal. Um the fact that throughout this movie, right, you have this man he's a Jewish man, and he's working with everybody, and he's going against the Nazis, and the just the story set up in general is amazing in itself. And the fact that this is what I really appreciated. The fact that because of the Manhattan Project is set in 1940s during World War II, the fact that we didn't have to see the Nazis, we didn't have to worry about what the Nazis were talking about and all that stupid shit, I appreciated that. The fact that they were able to tell a World War II story without showing Nazis or without focusing on Nazis was amazing to me.
Yeah.
Because there's not a lot of people that can, it's not a lot of people that can do that. For some odd ass reason, it seems like such a task for people to do that, right? Um,
Well, Pearl Harbor, they
well,
might have been mentioned, but
Pearl Harbor was about a specific situation too, though, because
yeah,
Pearl Harbor is about the Manhattan Project in itself. So that's totally different, because technically they were just fighting. They were just talking about the Japanese. So really, you don't even, if you don't even know what Pearl Harbor is, and you just watch this movie, you don't even have a indication that this is about World War II. You think this is just about the Japanese bombing America. You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? So unless you know the history behind everything, this ain't even something that you think about. However, though, I was the one person that I wanted to hear from because they didn't really mention his name, was Werner von Braun. That's the only person I wanted to hear them from. Another thing that kind of had me hold back too was because they mentioned his son in all of this. And when he went to what was the town called? Um
Ah, I forget.
the town that they made up, when they built the town and everything else, and they took them to the town that they stole the land from the natives and all that shit. His son was with them. Remember, he had his son at that time. In
Hmm.
real life, his son was born in, I think, 1980, because his son is still alive today. And that nigga is he's a CFO for Apple, and he was a CFO. I mean, he's a CFO. He was a CFO for Apple, and he's a part of Goldman Sachs. He's on the board of directors for Goldman Sachs. So his son is still alive today. You know what I'm saying? So I thought that was super, super interesting too, that they had showed his son so early in the film, even though he was born, you know what I'm saying, a little bit later. Um, but yeah, that's it for me, man. Let's say 5.5, 4.5.
Okay, man. For me, because honestly, I've only seen it once. and I think that if I see it again, it can definitely go up. But off of one watch, with the cast being as great as it was, um, for the direction that they took in the movie being as great as it was, and it not really being a dull moment like you were saying, like when someone spoke to you, you paused it. I didn't even take a bathroom break the whole 3 hours.
I bet.
I sat there and I watched that whole fucking shit. That hardly ever happens. If I go to the movies and it's like
Yeah.
2:20, I
Yeah.
gotta go run to the bathroom real quick. I ain't
Absolutely.
have to go to the bathroom at all for the whole 3 hours.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a 4 off of one watch.
Okay.
But I do believe that when I do see this again, like you said, this is something that we could revisit. I can see it going up because I didn't see anything off that one watch that would make me degrade it in any type of way.
Right.
Um, yeah, man, I'm gonna go 4 right now, but it
Okay.
could definitely change in the future.
Cool, man. Cool. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. So let's go ahead and get into coming soon.
Let's do it.
Coming soon to own on video and DVD.
All right. So next episode is Grandma's Boy, right?
Oh man,
I fucked that up, didn't I?
yo, boy, y'all ready to laugh?
Oh no, I did. Okay, that is the right thing. Okay, I'm just making sure. So
Yo.
Grandma's Boy is the next movie. I haven't seen this since I was probably about 16, but I remember one particular scene in this movie where this nigga was asleep at his job under the desk. I don't know why that scene stuck out to me, but whatever happened in that scene was funny. So that's probably why it was like
No,
why I can't forget it. But I can't wait to rewatch this because I know this movie is funny as
no,
fuck. Everybody you ask about this movie, they laugh before they start talking about it. So
yo, listen.
yeah.
The all-time scene in this movie is when my man went over to his friend's house to stay the night. First of all, he go in there and my dude
Mhm.
got a car bed as a grown ass man. You know what I'm saying? And he called his parents and roommates. But yo, my man woke up in the middle of the night. He's horny. So he's like, he's gonna take a fucking Barbie doll, take that shit in the bathroom. Got Barbie stretched out, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Got her bent over and he's jacking out to a Barbie doll. Mom Dukes walk in while he's coming. He says, I can't stop coming.
That's crazy. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, you want to talk about comedy? They don't make shit like this no more, man. They don't make this no more. That shit was hilarious, boy. That must say, man, you calmed over my mom, man. Like, yo, that shit is hilarious.
That's crazy. So listen, man, y'all get ready for the next episode. Stay tuned. It's going to be a good one. But if you enjoyed Oppenheimer, if you didn't enjoy Oppenheimer, if you too feel like we should drop bombs on more people, you know what I'm saying? Or we shouldn't. Hit us up, let us know on the socials, man. IGX at ViewAnon You can hit us up on Facebook, VA Pod Watch Group. You can also join our community, Viewers Anonymous. And if you haven't already, subscribe. $2.99 a month. The link will be in the description. The link is going to be in the description of this episode and every other episode you listen to. So you can click that link, you can sign up and subscribe. Excuse me, trust me, you do not want to miss out. We have 8 episodes in there already. We got a lot more to come. This year is going to be a phenomenal year, so you don't want to miss out. A whole bunch of content. It's gonna be fun, man. And if you like to follow me personally, you can follow me on X at Scoots Bronson. I have a link tree in my bio, and you can follow me everywhere else there.
And y'all can find me at s.foster8 on Instagram and and X at 28 minutes or less pod. That is just on IG. Follow the podcast. 28 minutes or less on all major platforms. The last episode is still 142. which is my top 10 shows of 2023. So go check that out on all major platforms, and that's all I got.
That's what's up, man. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for watching. Your support is greatly appreciated. Without you, there could be no us. And hey, man, like they say in Hollywood, that's a wrap.
Cut.